In a full week on the training ground following last Friday's draw against Bristol Rovers, what's the mood around the place been like?
Positive. I think there's an element of frustration. I think the performance was generally very good, and we should have won the game on Friday, and seeing other results elsewhere was probably an opportunity missed on gaining ground on the top 4 teams. But yeah, I mean, lots of the performance, there's things to like. We obviously want to start better, and there's no doubts about that. But in general, I think things are going okay. I think we still need to improve, and there's still work to be done. But yeah, I see us evolving and improving all the time.
Obviously, the skipper Ricardo Almeida Santos was missing from that one. We know he was in hospital earlier in the week and apparently starting to feel a bit better. How is he?
Yeah, he's out. He's at home now, which is great news. Obviously, it was a huge shock to us all. Things deteriorated really quickly, and it was a really difficult time for his family and for him himself. But thankfully, those wonderful people at the NHS have really supported him, looked after him, and given him the treatment that he needed. And now he's in a much better place. He's still not breathing 100% again, but he's very much on the improve, still on medication, and he'll be seeing a specialist shortly to see how long he's going to be missing for. But the main thing is he's progressing, he's out of hospital, and he's back with his family.
And how much of the lads and the group in general rallied around following that news? I guess always a concern when you lose a player of Rico's magnitude, especially given the nature of his absence as well.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we've worked extremely hard on at this football club, from top to bottom, from the owner, the investors, directors, to the senior management team, to the rest of the staff, is the culture and environment, and they're very much together. We're very much together as a football club, and the outpouring of support from not only his teammates but from the fans as well is great, and really picked him up. So yeah, we've all supported him as best we can, him and his wonderful partner Kaya. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, now he's on the mend and on the road to recovery. But the most important thing is he's out of hospital and very much on the improve.
Owen Toll, as a result, came into the side for his first league start. What have you made to his performances when he's been called up on, and also the way he's applied himself sort of in and around the training ground?
Look, I've been really impressed with him since he's come in. The way he's really bought into what we're trying to do and how quickly he's taken to it is great. I think he's obviously different to Rico. There's only one Rico, but he's a very, very good player in his own right, and I think at the games he's played, he's really shown that. He's got an opportunity in the team now to cement his place and to keep growing and improving, and we think he's going to be a really good player. So I was impressed with his performance last Friday, and I think he'll be better again for the run-out.
Just a couple more sort of injury concerns before we move on from that. We believe Jon broke his nose in a collision last week, and there's an issue with George Thomason regarding his knee as well. What can you tell us about those? We'll
start with Jon. Jon obviously broke his nose quite badly. We were hoping to get the news that he'd be able to wait until the end of the season before getting it reset. However, it was that bad a break that it's kind of blocking one of the nasal passages, so he needs an operation. He'll have an operation on Monday to reset that nose. Will be out for 2 to 3 weeks. George Thomason, dislocated his knee on Friday. The knee went straight back in on the ground, which is good news, but it damaged the ligament which holds the patella in place. There's quite a significant tear to that ligament. He's seeing a specialist today. We're hoping that we can rehab it, in which case it'll be a shorter time out, still significant, but a shorter time. But if it requires surgery, he's probably looking at the remainder of the season.
A lot's been said about the amount of late goals Bolton have scored this season. How much of a positive do you see that as a manager of the team?
Yeah. I don't think it's been just this season. I think last season was the same, the season before that, and my teams at Barrow were the same. I think when you dominate the ball and you keep asking questions and you're able to impact subs and goals from the bench, it really helps. Obviously, we want to keep that and keep that kind of fighting spirit alive, but we want to start games better. We all know we need that first goal, and the results off the back of that first goal speak for themselves, really. So we're working hard on that, but obviously maintaining that spirit where this team never knows when to beat, and that's a good habit to get into.
Yeah, you've said that a big reason for the late goals is how well the team manipulate the ball and how long they've got the ball for. Is it also maybe down to the players' fitness levels perhaps and desire to want to get something out of the game even when the whistle's almost about to blow?
Yeah, look, I think we had some big conversations in the summer regarding, our fitness and our physical output, and I think the S&C department, Matt Pelham and Jammer have been fantastic. They've got the players in really good health and really good condition. We're not really getting muscle injuries, the more impact injuries, to be honest, and freak injuries really that you can't help. But the players' physical condition is great, and that's credit to those guys. We train intensely when we've got them on the football front, but physically the players really buy into the gym, they really buy into the nutrition. JB, the chef's been brilliant with that, and then obviously Jammer and Finchy are doing great in terms of making sure they're in peak physical health and condition for match days, and I think that's why we're finishing games strongly.
Back at Shrewsbury this weekend, we've all got pretty fond memories of our last trip there with Dion Charles' last minute winner.
Yeah.
What do you recall from that afternoon, and what sort of a challenge you're expecting from them this weekend?
I think it was a really tight, difficult game, and there'll be very limited chances and opportunities, and I think this game will be no different to that. I'd like us to play better than what we did at that stage. I think that was our second game and a bit of a run that we went on after a really bad run in December, so we're in much better form, and the team's kind of improved and evolved from them, but so have they. They're a good team with good players, very good manager, very experienced manager, so I think it's going to be a real challenge.
It's obviously getting colder, it's getting nearer and nearer to Christmas, but it's another sold out away end down at Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
How much of a lift is that when you're travelling across the country and you can look to the away end and it's packed to the rafters?
I mean, our fans are incredible. We have a huge fan base. Wherever you go in the country or even abroad, you bump into Bolton Wanderers fans. It's just the size of club we are, and it's great that they're buying into us and the players and trying to get the right results. And it's fantastic with the cash crisis and everything that's going on in the world at the moment for them to spend the hard-earned money to come and watch us play on a Saturday afternoon miles away is great credit to them, so thank you for the support.